So that's just a little cartoon on the ethics of AI. And the reason I put it there is we're going to be talking about ethics today. And besides some of the things that Leslie said that I do, in my old age, I am a student again. I'm doing my second master's in AI and ethics at Cambridge University. And it's a very fascinating subject which you're going to hear a bit more about as we go forward. I thought the ethics part will happen before me, and so I put that here. But anyway, what I'm going to speak about, however, is a little different. It's a little fun, if it may. And it's about the fact that the question that whether AI can be creative, pretty much like human beings, can AI be creative? So before I do this, I just wanted a show of hands. Who amongst this audience thinks that AI is or can be creative, like a human being? Okay, and the people who don't think so. So they're like lots sitting on the fence, is it? Trying to figure out after this presentation, sochenge, whether it is creative or not. Okay, so look, it's a big question. We've been asking that. A lot of people think that AI would be like human beings, and whether it can be creative or it cannot be creative. The thing about creativity, you just heard Professor Kumar just before this, and he talked about different data, AI, machine learning. The thing about creativity is that creativity is a part of human nature. As Ai Weiwei said, he's a famous Chinese artist who's been chucked out of China. And he said that it can only be untaught. It cannot be taught. Anyone who tries to teach creativity, basically you know what happens. There's another quote which says that, creative adult is a child who never grew up. Was never taught in that sense. On the other hand, every principle of AI, especially machine learning, as you can see from that little joke there, is about teaching, is about learning. And so it's kind of a paradox that can you kind of machine learn creativity or can you not? So let's kind of explore. Now, whenever we think of creativity, and there are different definitions of creativity, there are some great academic definitions, we don't have time to go through it right now. But if you were to think of creativity and think of creativity from a human being perspective, what are the different manifestations of creativity? If you say that a person is creative, what can he or she do? Probably he can create music, that's creativity, or painting is creativity, or playing games is creative, debating, speaking is creative, writing is creative. And there are other things too, probably, beyond these 5, but I've kind of selected these 5, and what I wanted to do was to see that what has AI been able to do in these 5 things. And then I will leave you to judge whether AI can be creative or it cannot be creative. So let's talk of this first. The video is going to play. I hope that works for the people right at the very back.
It turns me on. Good day, sunshine in the backseat. God, I wish that road could never stop. Down on the ground.
Okay, can we put the lights on? So nice song. Tell me what is so unique about this song? Be creative. You're human beings. Tell me. What do you think? What do you think? Just guess. Made by an AI. Actually, it's the first ever. Okay, now if you go to Google and type, or YouTube and type AI songs, you'll see thousands of them. When this was playing, and it was nice, some of you didn't want it to stop, what music could you think of? What was it familiar? Was it familiar, this music? I'm not going to play it again, we don't have time. But for anyone who thought it sounded like someone? Huh? Cold? Maybe one generation behind. It actually is a very Beatles song. And even the lyrics are very Beatlish. And actually this AI was And if you hear it again, you'll get what I speak. This AI was trained on all the Beatles music ever. And then it created this song out of nothing. The lyrics, the song, not the video, but the lyrics, the song, the everything. And this is the first huge amount of further stuff in AI on music has happened. I'm going to move. Let's talk about gaming. Pretty much, I think in gaming, pretty much we know the story. 1997, Garry Kasparov was defeated by, not AI, but by a machine. Today, 10 out of 10 times if Garry Kasparov plays chess with a machine, he'll be defeated. 10 out of 10 times. Famous video, which I'm not going to show, of Jeopardy, this big game. Some of you might have seen the video, etc., where an AI player comprehensively defeated everyone, every single human being who played. I mean, he defeated it by miles, by centuries. I want to show you a little video, and some of you might have played this little game. Just see this video. So this is a game called Atari. And for people who are as old as me, you would have played this on the phone or on the PC before, and you had to kind of, break these walls, these bricks, and whoever broke them first was the winner. Now this is a small deep learning engine created by Demis Hassabis's DeepMind, which is now owned by Google. And see what happens. So it's kind of doing well. It has been training. It somewhere said 200 training sessions or something. And the fun happens after 600 training episodes. What happens is quite amazing. So it discovers that there's this cool way which no human being or very few human beings had figured out. 600 training sessions, after which this AI, figuring out a new way of doing Atari, could pretty much defeat any other human being who plays Atari. And today, 10 out of 10 times, if you play Atari with a AI, you lose. There's this very famous, your clicker doesn't work, my friends. Can I move to the next slide? Yeah. The landmark, seminal moment in terms of AI and creativity or AI and artificial general intelligence came with this game. Do you know what game is this? I've written it there, but still, I want some participation. I want people to talk to me so that I'm not... Go, absolutely. So Go is this game. It has 19 squares rather than 12 squares, 12 into 12 like chess has. It's the oldest living game in existence. It's a very difficult game. There are more moves in Go than there are atoms in the universe. And it's a very human game. It's not deterministic like chess with rules. It's an instinctive game. And they said that no AI could ever defeat any human being in chess. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful movie if you see that. But again, DeepMind created a program called AlphaGo in 2017. And it defeated this guy called Lee Sedol, who was the 19-time world champion in Go. And it defeated it through a move which is now called Move 37. In fact, Move 37 has become almost a reverential word in AI. There are companies called Move 37. There are movies called Move 37, which no human being could play. It was such a different kind of move. And so it defeated Lee Sedol 4-1 in a 5-game set in 2017. Last year, Lee Sedol resigned from the game of Go, saying that no human being would be able to defeat an AI in Go forever. So his career was over. And this is a very instinctive game. This is a very creative game. This is a very human kind of game. And so that's about gaming. Art. This painting is a painting by a very famous Dutch artist called Rembrandt. Some of you would have heard his name, Rembrandt. Except that it was painted 600 years after Rembrandt died. It was painted by an AI built by Microsoft and with a couple of other partners. Actually, you can go to this site called nextrembrandt.com, and it analyzed every Rembrandt painting, created this painting, and most art experts, including Rembrandt experts, were completely fooled. And they had to kind of disclose that this was not Rembrandt painting which someone had found in their attic or whatever. It was actually created by an AI. There are many other examples I can give you in painting and how it did that and how the color, the texture, the kind of men that he painted, but I will skip. Fifth or fourth is talking, debating. And here's a small little clip. This is about, this is a debating competition. One side of the debate is a human being. Supposedly the world's champion debater happens to be an Indian. And debating him is a debating engine by Watson, by IBM. Just listen.
Greetings, Harish. I have heard you hold the world record in debate competition wins against humans. But I suspect you've never debated a machine. Welcome to the future. I would argue that we should subsidize preschools. We are going to talk about financial issues, but not only about them. In the current status quo...
So, what you saw, this is actually Watson's voice. It's been given a human voice. And both Watson and this debater were given a topic to debate 20 minutes before the debate started. The debate happened, Watson marshaled all the facts, built out a debate, started debating the human being. Guess who won? The human being won. Well, you know, the jury was all humans. So we don't know. Okay, it's not a deterministic thing, right? And then finally is writing. And for the longest time, until 2 years back, people said that AI can do all these things, but it cannot write. Writing was very difficult. Okay, I mean, I should know. That's my book, by the way. And here, 3 years back, we hacked together an AI with Findability Sciences, who I also represent and work with, to write a chapter on AI written by an AI. So that's that green thing there. And that was remarkable. It was the first time in global publishing history. And my book sold a few copies because of that. But after that came GPT-3, about a year after that. And for those who haven't read or heard GPT-3, you can spend your next entire lifetime wondering about how brilliant it is. And GPT-3 is a writing program by OpenAI, another large AI firm. And it kind of just writes on anything. And this, what I've written here, which if I had the time, I would have loved to read, was actually a debate that GPT-3 was having with 9 philosophers about its existence and what kind of thing it was. And it's just amazing that this is an AI which is answering that. One of the 9 philosophers actually teaches me is my teacher at Cambridge. And so it's a fantastic story. And GPT-4, by the way, is going to come very soon. GPT-3, the amount of data it ingested, Wikipedia was 0.6% of that data. So you can imagine the amount of data that it had, and GPT-4 is going to be a 10x kind of a variation. So tell me, can AI be creative? How many people think so? The same. Oh, well, a little bit more. The fence sitters have jumped. So look, even as I say that, it's not yet confirmed whether it can be or not. But as we are heading towards what we call singularity, a part that I represent again, Singularity University, which is when human intelligence and artificial intelligence is supposed to meet or cross 2039 or 42 or whatever is the new year that they have come up with. Becoming creative, becoming ethical, AI developing emotions are all the things that so far we don't know, but it'll be fun to see how that pans out. Thank you very much.